Have you ever stopped to think about what's going on inside the most complex object in the entire known universe? Well, guess what? You're carrying it around with you every single day. Today, we're taking a whirlwind tour of the incredible 3-pound machine sitting right inside your skull. Because honestly, that's exactly what's happening. Your brain is literally building your entire reality from scratch. We're going to break down how it pulls that off, from its protective armor all the way to its emotional core. And you're definitely going to want to stick around, because at the end, I've got a rapid-fire round of 5 mind-bending brain facts that will totally change how you think about, well, thinking. Okay, so before we dive into the inner workings of this amazing organ, we've got to talk about its security system. I mean, your skull is obviously the first line of defense, but believe me, it is not working alone. The brain has its own multi-layered suit of armor. Right under the bone, you've got these 3 protective sheets called the meninges. The outer one, the dura mater, is super tough, like a leather jacket. The middle one, the arachnoid layer, is thin and kind of web-like. And then, clinging right to the brain surface, is the super delicate pia mater. But wait, there's more. Floating between all those layers and inside the brain is this special liquid called cerebrospinal fluid. You can think of it as the brain's personal airbag, giving it a constant cushion against all the bumps and jolts of daily life. Pretty smart, right? All right, let's get to the main event, the cerebrum. This is the big one, the part you always picture. It makes up a whopping 83% of your brain's total mass, and it's where all the high-level stuff, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, all of that happens right here. So the cerebrum is split right down the middle into 2 halves, or hemispheres. Now, you've probably heard of the whole left brain, right brain thing, and while they're always working together, your left side generally handles things like language and logic, while the right side is more about creativity, spatial awareness, and artistic skills. They're constantly talking to each other through this huge bundle of nerve. Now, the cerebrum itself is divided into 4 main parts, or lobes. Let's start right at the front with the big boss, the frontal lobe. This is the CEO of your brain. It's in charge of your personality, your big decisions, and maybe most importantly, your impulse control. It's the part of you that says, you should probably have a salad. But when it's tired after a long day, that cake starts to look really good. That's your CEO getting worn out. And get this, one of the frontal lobe's biggest jobs is movement. Tucked away at the back of it is something called the motor cortex, which has this amazing but kind of weird-looking map of your entire body. And the parts that need more precise control, like your hands and your mouth, get way more real estate on this map. It's sending out the signals for every single move you make on purpose. Okay, moving back, we hit the parietal lobe. I like to call this one the navigator. It's processing all that sensory info from the world, like touch, pain, temperature, and it gives you your sense of where your body is in space. You know, so you don't walk into door frames all the time. Now, down on the sides, near your temples, are the temporal lobes. These are your brain's archivists. They handle everything you hear, but they're also absolutely critical for recognizing faces and, most importantly, for creating and pulling up your memories. And finally, at the very back of your head, we have the occipital lobe. This part is a total specialist. It has one job and one job only: vision. Every single thing you see, every color, all the motion, your depth perception, it is all processed right here. It's like your brain's own personal movie theater. Okay, so we've toured the surface. Now let's dive deeper. We're going into the powerful, ancient parts of the brain that run our emotions, our memories, and our most basic survival instincts. This is where things get really primal. Welcome to the limbic system. First, you've got the hypothalamus, which is like your body's internal thermostat controlling hunger and sleep. Then there's the hippocampus, which is actually shaped like a little seahorse, and that's your memory factory. And you can't forget the amygdala, that's your emotional alarm system, firing up for fear and pleasure and kicking off that whole fight or flight response. So how does all this sensory info get to the right spot? Well, it all passes through the thalamus. The thalamus basically acts like the brain's central post office. It's like a parcel service for your senses, taking in almost everything, sight, sound, touch, and routing it to exactly the right address for processing. So far, we've talked a lot about thinking and feeling, but a huge part of your brain's job is to run all the background programs that keep you alive without you ever having to give them a single thought. At the very base of your brain, connecting it to your spinal cord, is the brainstem. This is your absolute life support system. It handles the most critical functions you can imagine, Breathing, blood pressure, your heartbeat, swallowing, it never, ever clocks out. And tucked just behind the brainstem is the cerebellum, which literally means little brain. Now, it doesn't start the movement, that's the frontal lobe's job, but it acts as the master coordinator. It fine-tunes everything, giving you the grace, balance, and smooth movements you need for everything from just walking across the room to playing the piano. All right, you made it through the grand tour. And just like I promised, here we go. It's time for the rapid fire round. Get ready for 5 absolutely incredible facts about your brain that really show you how amazing that thing in your head truly is. Fact number 1, for all of its incredible power, your brain only weighs about 3 pounds. Yet, pound for pound, it is the single most complex object we know of in the entire universe. Fact number 2, your brain is packed with an estimated 100 billion neurons. To put that in perspective, that's more than 12 times the number of people on planet Earth, all firing away inside your skull. Fact number 3, and this is wild, the neurons are actually outnumbered. You have even more glial cells, which are like their support staff, making sure they have food and protection. Fact number 4, ever wonder why the brain is so wrinkly? It's all about maximizing power. If you could flatten out the cortex, it would be about the size of a pillowcase. Folding it all up lets us pack way more processing power into a small space. And finally, fact number 5, your brain is cross-wired. The right half controls the left side of your body, and the left half controls the right side. That's exactly why a stroke on one side of the brain causes problems on the opposite side of the body. And that brings our tour to a close, so I'll leave you with one final thought to chew on. Everything you experience, every sight, every sound, every single feeling, is just your brain's interpretation of electrical signals. So if your brain is the ultimate architect of your world, what does that really say about reality itself? Thanks for joining me.